So today I wanted to do a mixed Q&A video, and these are just questions that I've received either through my Q&A form or through direct message or through comments. I find it to be better just for everyone in general and for me to answer questions in this kind of like group format rather than spending time like private messaging answers, because honestly sometimes a question will take like several paragraphs to answer and I just don't have the time and bandwidth to do that like for individual people, unless of course it's like in one of my reading sessions. So yeah, so I thought this would be a better way to answer questions for everyone. And yeah, I'm also trying to just be more articulate with the way I speak, because my sister actually told me recently that I kind of mumble when I talk, and yeah, she's absolutely right about that. And also, I've realized that the input levels for my microphone is lower than they should be. So I fixed that, and hopefully my videos will be louder. It's kind of like my thing to have like a blocked throat chakra. And my throat chakra is actually the most naturally powerful of all my chakras because I'm part of the Blu-ray and I'm all about media communication and stuff. So, and recently it got unblocked. So I'm like now on this journey of being just like expressing more like through the voice. It's like part of like a phase I'm in. So everything's falling into place. Okay, so I'm going to pull up these questions. Yeah, and as I said, a lot of these came from the Q&A anonymous form, which I will link below. So in the future, if you want to ask a question, I'll like collect questions on there and then do a video once I have enough. Okay, so someone asked about the lion people and basically how do we know if we are a lion person in a higher form? And I knew that this question would come up eventually because this is one of the main star races I'm always talking about, just because I am also connected to this star race. And for some reason, the people who follow me also love this star race. So I'll just tell you how I found out. I was a lion person, and I'm sorry if I'm like kind of laughing and giggling throughout this because sometimes the topics just make me laugh. Like this idea of being a lion person, it's funny to talk about it in a serious way. So sometimes I laugh. I laugh a lot at myself. Okay, so, so the way that I found out that I was a lion person, there were a few things. So when I first met I call like the twin flame catalyst. So this is someone from my soul group who shares like a lot of who is in a lot of the same families as me, like on higher planes. When I met him, which was, wow, it was just 2 years ago. It feels like it was like 5 years ago. But when I met him, that's when my psychic abilities really started to kind of go a bit crazy. I'll link to a post where I explain all the stuff that happened a bit more. But I would see a lot of blue kind of psychic phenomena. So I would see like blue grids on my ceiling. In the astrals I would see blue people who wanted to talk to me with glowing like a glowing blue aura around them. There's lots of other examples I could share about the blue stuff, but one thing that I did see literally floating right in front of my face when I woke up one morning, or early morning, was a blue lion head. It was like floating right in front of me, and it was just like right there in front of me, and I could almost as if I could touch it. I'm not kidding. And this was also the night before that I had a visitation by a blue angel. I guess you could call one of the Archangel Michael, or one of the angels under Archangel Michael. So seeing the blue lion head made me start thinking about lions. And then there was also another time when I was traveling and I met a soulmate, from my soul group again. So I'm always running into these people who also had was connected to the blue beings, like the people with the blue skin. And whatever, we were I'm trying to remember exactly the scenario. I'm not going to go into depth, but we were just laying on the beach, and I found when I would come close to him, close to when our auras would kind of mesh together, I felt like a lion and he felt like a lion to me. And this is just a random person. I don't feel this when I hug just anyone. This guy also, this soulmate also, our energies, his energy, kind of cleared my heart chakra a bit. It kind of unblocked some stuff in it, which was pretty cool. But okay, so that was another sign for me that I was a lion person. So I would say that you will get, if you're on this spiritual journey, you're going to get these little signs, and they're going to be kind of psychic hits, kind of. Also, there was another time where, this was very recent, this was maybe a couple of months ago, where I woke up kind of in the astral plane, and I saw a lion person who tapped on my chest 3 times. It was 1, 2, 3, and then I woke up. Kind of like a Wizard of Oz type situation. Tap 3 times and then you'll be home, kind of thing. So yeah, those are some examples. I also would say that you could look at some of the traits of the lion people, and I might have a post on my blog already posted about the traits of the lion people. If I do, I'll put it as a link so you can look at that. But some common traits are just that they kind of just have this like softer kind of cuddly thing going on. And it's hard to describe. This is why I do the celebrity videos so I can actually show you. But they do have like a softness like in their eyes. They kind of just remind you of like a cat, like a cuddly kind of cat. When they talk in a very grounded way. So these are people who have the lion energy as their kind of dominant energy. So you can really see in them that they have their voice is going to be kind of deeper, and it's going to be it kind of sounds a bit plain, honestly, or that they're bored, but they're not bored. Like they're still like pretty animated. I'll post the video before I post this Q&A so you can see. So I will link to that short video below. Another thing about lion people is that they are very obsessed with revealing the truth and finding the truth and sharing it with people. So you might, if you're a lion person, you might find yourself just being really like kind of never satisfied with anything that's presented to you because you want to find the ultimate truth about the way that the universe works. I find that that is definitely a lion trait. So I'm trying to think if there's any other common traits. I'll also say that lion people can be a little sensitive, similar to the dragon people. So, and I think it's because there are certain star races that have a lot of like spiritual power that they're bringing down. And because they have that, they're so open, like in their upper chakras. So they're gonna just feel energy around them so easily, and it makes them very sensitive. So if you see like a lion person, like they don't look like just sitting there like very, I'm not gonna say dead, but like they're kind of like you can see that they're very like active, and kind of animated more. All right. Okay, this next question, kind of random but very interesting. What is beauty and how is beauty defined? So, I would say that on this level of existence, that beauty is, for the majority of the population, beauty is more of a way to feel safe and more of a way to survive, unfortunately. It's just kind of the way that this realm is kind of built. I would say that on the more positive side, that beauty is kind of like a physical cue to kind of show us that we're connected to something, to like to a higher power. I think that is the like basic kind of foundational reason why we're always kind of chasing beauty. But then like on the higher planes, like if you were connected, if you, let's say, like you were your higher self right now, and you were connected to like God or the like unconditional love of source, beauty wouldn't necessarily mean anything to you because you don't need these like outside physical cues to show you like okay, like okay, I'm beautiful, life is perfect, I'm perfect. um because you already are that, and you know it as like a truth that can't be denied, can't talk you out of it. um yeah, so if you were looking upon if you were your higher self looking upon your lower self, and if your lower self was beautiful, or if you were like listening to really beautiful music, like I consider like classical music to be beautiful music for sure. Um, it doesn't really mean anything to you. Um, yeah, just literally like what I said, just because you already are that perfection. So you'll look at this beautiful thing on like the lower plane as your higher self, and you just kind of see it as a thing. It wouldn't really mean anything to you. Whereas here it does mean something, and it does it does kind of help in our survival if you really think about it. And if I'm honest, like the reasons why, oh, like why am I wearing lipstick? Why did I like, I don't know, buy like a new hair product? It's to get myself closer, I guess, to that like pure energy and that like pure perfection. And I would say, if I'm honest, like a part of me like buys nice clothes and like wears makeup and all that stuff. A part of me is sincerely doing it for survival. Um, because I think we all know in the back of our mind that life will be easier for us if we look good and we look presentable. I don't think a lot of us are beautifying ourselves as a way for us to connect to like a more perfect, pure, higher energy. But I think it's technically both. Like I'm technically doing it for both reasons. So yeah, I don't think like beauty or beautifying yourself, listening to beautiful music, looking at beautiful art, I don't think that is a bad thing at all, but definitely on this level of existence, it's definitely mixed. You definitely have one side of yourself going, I want to be beautiful, or I want to connect to that more pure, perfect energy. And then you have another side of yourself saying, oh, I better do this, otherwise I'm not gonna survive. I'm gonna be like left in the dust kind of thing. So Yeah, that's how I would define beauty on this level. And in a higher level, I would actually define it as not really even existing as a concept because, like I said, when you're up there, you are it. So anything you see outside of yourself as physical beauty, it's just it like literally means nothing to you. The same way that if you saw like an ugly thing or like a scary thing, like means that also means nothing to you. It's just it is what it is. And like you're going to continue on your journey and not care about it. Okay. Okay. This was actually sent to me over DM and I'm just saving it for this video. So I have a hard time with astral projection. I have no doubt I did it when I was young. Now I know I'm not as disciplined and I should be, but I keep trying. Any help would be appreciated so much. So for me, the easiest way to astral project, actually, there are a few ways that I like to use. The first way that, well, actually, there it's kind of used like in combination. So this is literally what I do, and I actually never intend to astral project or astral travel. So I'll actually just say really quickly that astral travel is kind of like a mix of like dream and the astral realm. Astral projection to me is more being like conscious in the astral realm. And I've actually been like pretty much, no, not pretty much. I've been 100% conscious in the astral realm before. So there's like levels to astral projecting. But the way that really seems to work for me is meditating right before bed. And I'm going to add a link below, just kind of explaining exactly what type of meditation. But what I usually do is as I'm falling asleep, I focus on balancing, like kind of perfectly on my heart center. And this will also just put you super, super, super like grounded into your body. And that's like, to me, like that is the most important thing you could do. It's like prolonged focus on your body. I use like my heart chakra. I just kind of like I'll link sorry, I'm gonna put all the links down below, but I'll link to the exact meditation that I do. So I do that as I fall asleep. And then and so a lot of the time this kind of happens on accident. I'll wake up like at around 4 in the morning, maybe even 5 in the morning. And whenever I catch myself waking up super early, like on accident, I actually stay awake, just laying there in bed or for around like a half an hour. Like it should be like, yeah, around half an hour is usually good. And then as I'm drifting off to sleep, I do that meditation. And that will more often than not always launch me into the astral realm or an astral travel. And at this point, I would ask why you want to astral travel, because, or why you want to go into the astral realm, because it's definitely not for the faint of heart. It's picture everything you feel here, and then picture that like times 20 or something. So everything's just more intense when you're near people in the astral. You get like, you really feel their energy here. Like when you walk by people on the street, you might just get a little hint of something. In the astral, it's right in front of your face. You might see people who you'll also see people that have some symbolic representations of certain like soul groups they're part of. So I would ask why you want to go into the astral. I think what you really are wanting is probably like to go beyond the astral, and for that, I would actually recommend doing the out of body course by Darius J. Wright, and I will link that below as well. That to me, it goes beyond astral projection and astral travel, which is still, it's real. Like it's definitely real, and you can gain a lot of information from doing that. But what's really healing to me is like the OBE, where you're actually going into other realms, like literally. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely check that out. And yeah, that's it for that one. I would also say if you were doing it more as a little kid, it could be that right now your like mind is maybe just too filled up with life stuff where you don't have that focus for it to actually happen. So try doing more of that like body focused meditation before bed, which yeah, I will link, and see if that does something. How do we know if someone is a prince or princess in a higher dimension? All right. I also knew it was only a matter of time before someone asked this. Okay, so sometimes, this is another time where I'm laughing at myself. Sometimes I will see that people are royal in a higher plane. A lot of time it's like they're like high up on like an elemental hierarchy. So I've seen people who are like fairy princes, mermaid queens, also like quite literally a queen or a king of an element. So like if you're a nymph, if you're a nymph, like a, let's say you're like a flower nymph, so you're like flowers come to life. Like you are the flower that has turned into a human. That I see as being like a flower princess or a flower queen. So depending on how individuated this elemental type is, that's like how royal they are. So the more individuated they are as an elemental, the more royal And there's like steps. It's like prince, queen. I'm sure there's more that I just don't, I'm not able to see. But I can tell when someone's like prince or princess level and when someone's a queen or king level. And it just means that like if okay, I'm gonna actually explain how I see like elementals as developing like in their hierarchies. So you have okay, I'm gonna use a leaf fairy as an example. So you have leaves as an element of the earth. And when you look at us, like we have like two eyes, a mouth, hands, five fingers, we have 2 feet, we have 2 legs. Like we are beings and we are created in the image of God. So I guess God also has like this kind of setup, like head, mouth, eyes, nose, blah, blah, blah. To an extent, I'm sure. So when you have a leaf that is spiritually developing, it's going to become more of like a being, like it's going to become more human-y or more God-like. And the more, um, before it becomes its own being, it's still connected to the general energy of leaves. So this is like kind of like how animals on this plane are all connected under one spirit. Like you have like birds flying and they all know exactly where to go. Like they're all kind of connected as a group. So leaf fairies would start off as being all connected as a group, and then they'll eventually branch off and turn more into humans, where they themselves are holding their own leaf energy as like a unit. It's like their own unit. They are their own unit of energy. And then that's when I would consider them a prince or a princess or a queen or a king, because they can now like help the elementals under them move up. Hopefully, hopefully that makes sense. Some of these things are just very hard to explain unless I go all the way back, like to the beginning of creation. And so I'm saying that on this level of existence, this like physical plane, some of us are have like a piece of like our soul, like a fragment of our soul, living as a royal elemental in just like in like a higher plane or in another realm or something. So it's kind of like simultaneous existence kind of thing. And this could be in the far past of the earth, because the dimensions are also time. So like higher dimensions are also future or past of earth. If I'm remembering correctly, but so sometimes you can see people like walking around here who are like literally holding those elemental royal elemental energies in them. And it's just another avatar that they're occupying. Okay, so the way to tell if someone is a prince or a princess, I think you can only really tell with psychic abilities. So I don't know. I don't think that there are any physical ways. They, um, I do find that they have just like a little bit more animated, an animated nature to them. They also just might be like, have just like a little bit of a higher perspective on things. I'm trying to think. I'm also gonna link my video on elemental royalty, and maybe you guys can see if there's anything that all those people have in common. Also, you might if you're like a person who has like very open, like an open crown and very like open like psychic chakras. As you go on your spiritual journey, you might meet people where, especially like in a romantic scenario, where you just kind of know that they're a prince. You're like, oh, they're a prince, or they're a king, they're a queen. Weird. You just know that, but no one else knows it. It's just because you are with them in that other realm where they are a king or a queen or a prince, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I wanted to ask about interference. I'm realizing I may have picked up energetic junk from a healer within a recent cord removal session. What are the best ways to clear her junk from my field or just in general? What are the best ways we can remove and clean out energy that is not our own? This is honestly the most common question that I get, like all the time, all the time. Like, how can I like remove this attachment, this entity attachment from me? And there are many, many ways and many, many reasons why someone has like dark energy around them. So it sounds like in your case, this actually happened after a session that you had with a healer or someone who did a cord cutting. And I will say that in my experience, you can, this is another thing that's a bit hard to explain, but you can pick up like entities and dark energies from people who are both in your soul group. So people who aren't necessarily attached to those energies or are connected to those energies, but because they're in your soul group, they are like opening your crown chakra. Like when you come together, your auras come together, it like causes kind of like a opening. And so you're now picking up on stuff in your environment or even like in your own psyche that you never realized or you never felt before. So that's one part. That's one possibility. If this healer is connected to dark energies, which literally is a thing, it's just how it is. And like I said, there's so many reasons. There's so many reasons why someone is attached to these darker energies. Ugh, like I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how many reasons. Like, It could be because they're traumatized as a person, they're very easily kind of infiltrated by these energies. They might be living in an environment that that is just kind of has like a dark energy, and because they're living there, they're like picking up those energies. They could be like physically ill, which causes them to easily connect to darker energies and get kind of thrown off. They could be on technology too much. Yeah, so I don't know why this person could have possibly passed on like entity attachments to you, but a way, or there are like a few ways that I will recommend that you clear this energy from your field. The most important thing to understand is that just like everything else in this physical world, entities actually cannot end you. They can't destroy your eternal nature. So like what I was saying with like the question about the beauty, the reason why we're always looking outside for safety is because we don't understand or remember our eternal nature. That's like literally the issue. It's like, it's just where we are living right now, and like how our minds are very, very plugged into that reality. So just knowing that going in. So if you go to a healer again or get a cord cutting session, go in really knowing that, like really knowing that you are eternal. I always compare it to like the sun doesn't just randomly like flick off its light, like it's always on. That's how I would describe you and your eternal nature. Always, always powerful, always on. So think about that. They can't actually like kill, or they can't like destroy your soul. Cannot. Another thing would be, I'm assuming that your crown chakra and your upper chakras are very open. Like a lot of people who look at my videos and follow me have very, very open crowns and open psychic abilities. So it could be very helpful to go into nature and like do something kind of hardcore in nature, like try to go into like the ocean, or try to like go near a bonfire to like really, like fire is very cleansing for the energy field. Salt water is very, very cleansing for the energy field. Going into a forest and leaning up against a tree can be very grounding. What else? Yeah, I would also say that also womb healing. So like clearing and cleansing out your womb space could be helpful in this. And I will link to my blog post on that. And I will also say that if you're doing these cord cutting sessions, that the best person to heal yourself is you, or random like soul members that you meet throughout your life. So one way to connect with these soul members is to stay in a balanced state. Which I actually have literally like a book. It's called Heart Focused Meditation, and it kind of puts you on that track and kind of like tells you exactly how to be in that balanced state so that you start connecting with these soul members who will like help to clear things from your field so you can like be more powerful and hold more of that power that you already have. You just don't feel it. So I will link to that book as well. Okay, so this is the next question. I think I might be an NPC. Is there a way to be sure? Do NPCs have souls? Okay. Everyone loves the NPC thing. So I actually just posted a video about NPC. So I'm going to link that below, and like that actually might answer your question. It will definitely answer your question if NPCs have souls. The fact that you're asking if you're an NPC makes me think you're not. The fact that you are in these spiritual circles makes me think that you're not. But I'm not saying that NPCs are bad, but I'm just saying that the fact that you are even submitting a question and like questioning your existence means that you're not. I'll actually use an example for you. So with spiritual teachers, for example, when you have an NPC spiritual teacher, so I always use like Eckhart Tolle as an example. He is like his theory and his teaching is be in the now. And he has been teaching that since he awakened like 20 or 30 years ago. Was it more than that? I don't even know actually, but and this tends to be what the NPCs do. So they'll find something that will be kind of like the answer for them, and they'll stick with that like forever, and they won't stray from it. They won't, like, you won't see Eckhart Tolle totally abandoning being in the now and going off the deep end, and he's just not going to do it. He's always going to be teaching that concept. Whereas with, I don't really know what to call the non-NPCs, but the spiritual teachers who are more rooted on the outside and have like this higher perspective on like reality, they're going to be constantly questioning the stuff that they're even teaching. They're going to be actually encouraging their followers to question them and to question themselves and to kind of like constantly be, I guess, like constantly be adding on to what they're teaching. So hopefully that is kind of telling you if you're an NPC or not. I really don't think you are, but like I said in that video that I am linking below, there are different levels to NPC, just like there's different levels to literally everything. like I've been talking about. So yeah, watch that video and see if that answers your question. If not, you can always submit another through the form. Okay, so that's it for this video. In the future, I will definitely do more of these Q&A videos. If you have a question that you want to be included, you can definitely submit it through the Q&A form below. And yeah, check out any of the links that I mentioned. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.